To be or not to be, that is the question. Everyone knows this famous phrase by Shakespeare, but does anyone really know what it means? The thing is, it is not a question, but an answer. It is the one and the same. To be is not to be at the same time. This is the path of life, learning to accept to be someone here and not to be here, because it is one and the same thing. We only look like we are, but in fact, we are not. We live only in our minds. This is reality. The following texts concern each and every one living in this place, in this world. It is not a biography. It's not for entertainment purposes. It is fundamentally important information which everybody should need to know. It is not to be taken lightly and with no disregards, because it affects and concerns each and every one of us. It is about our lives. It has to be taken as it is. There is no hidden senses and no hidden reference and no hidden meanings. It is about our past, present, and future. It is about the world that we are all part of, and in which you and everyone, now and before, have created for us. It shows only the true reality of life, in its simplest version. People today have a hard time living because they don't know anymore what to do with their lives, what to think of their lives, where it goes, or why they are even alive here today. The answer to this is because society has put upon them a box, a cage, a veil of lives before your eyes and your mind. When I say society, just to be clear, I'm talking about each and every one of us, here, now and then. When the rulers of society today decides to show and tell what people should be doing or not, and what they should know or not. They say that these are the things that are good and right for you, but what they do not say is that it is good and right, especially for them, to keep this society running like it's supposed to be, but really like they want it to be. Thing is, if you don't know better in your life, you don't have a clear view of what life really is. You will listen and believe all of what they say and show on TV and think that it is good for you. But why do they insist to say that it is good or bad for you? Every living being on this plane knows what is essentially good for them naturally. Why do they impose suggestion like that on you? To train you like an animal, like a dog, jump when asked to, play dead when asked to. It is mind control. What may look like mind control are only choices. But the magic is, you think it's always your choice. You decide to go there. You decide to buy this. You decide to eat this. You decide your life. But the real question is, why did you choose to do all those things? Because you let those suggestions get to you. So you think you need all of those things to live normally in the society, or your life won't be good, or won't be like they say. What will happen if you don't follow? The only thing that can happen is the fear of judgment of the peers. It's a kind of mind control. Fear. Society used those tactics. which they perfected over millions of years to continue to maintain their veil and their reign of control over the minds and the doings of the people. Society shows people that the only way to live their lives happily is to comply, to do what society wants, because it's the right thing to do. And anyone who do not follow their rules, well, they are suppressed, pushed aside of society, etiquette as crazy, or even act upon with violence. What kind of society does this? From my reflection and experiences, it has led me to see that and observe that a majority of people do not want to know the truth, or are afraid of it, or are lazy and just want to comply and be told what to do. They want to be told what to believe and even want to be controlled. It's easier this way. It's not their fault. They have been raised, educated, cultivated, brain-fed, and misled by society to think that way. By not trusting and not knowing what they need for themselves, but relying on others for their well-being. They want to believe in the saying of someone that seems supposedly more knowledgeable than themselves, or that someone will come and change things to make their lives easier, or someone will come to save them. All of this because of society and religion's work. The truth is, man does not know anymore what he should do here. What is his role, his place in all of this. He and only he can save himself. But as religions and society spreads, and so the imposition of those false beliefs on people, they were forced to and cultivated that way, and then started to believe in all of those beliefs, those of a Messiah or a person or guru or anything else will come and save them from their own sins, do everything for them. And then for them there were and still are the beliefs of today's society, but applied differently. As each and every knowledgeable man say, I can only show you the path. You got to walk the road yourself, or any of variation of that phrase. If everybody would understand this little and simple phrase, nobody would worship and listen to anything or anyone else than themselves. Not money, not a savior, not an actor, not an athlete, nor a teacher, or any religions that wants to govern your life. Only you, not egotistically speaking, but knowing yourself, trusting yourself, knowing who you are, where you are, what you are, what your experiences are, and your actions. By doing that, you and everyone else would be able to see the entire world as a happy and peaceful place. Controlled mind. The first line of control. When I was younger, I could always see past the lies and beliefs of people, and I'm pretty sure that all children can. But as a child, we look up to parents and teachers, and we think that the grown-ups should know better than you about life and all those things, because they have experienced it. But in fact, they don't have a clue any more than you. They have been misled and lied to all their lives as well. As adults, they think that they can decide what their children should do or what they should follow and believe because society says it is the way to do it. Does that give them the right to tell a child what to do or not? Even if you, the child, know, and that what you feel is right. But if a child dares to say to an adult that is not the way it should be, or does not want to do what he has been told to, then the parents get angry and try to hurt their child's feeling by using words like, "You're not good enough, you're stupid, you're not intelligent," and even sometimes resort to violence and physical harm, just to impose their will and to make the children, do the things that they think is right for you. But what do they know? They don't even know what is good for themselves most of the time. Why do those acts? Because you are a helpless child who needs control and who knows nothing? It's kind of like what society does to adults already. But these kinds of acts put on barriers on the child's mind unconsciously and builds their vision of life in their heads. These I call micro-traumatism. Looks like nothing, but affects and scars the mind over time. No child is stupid and ignorant. Only those who raise them are. All this, again, because they have been raised and educated to the likes of society and they don't know better. So they transmit to their children the same teachings. Is it right to think that because of the child come from them, that they are the rightful owner of that child? Because it is their child, the sense of owning someone and having power over something, isn't that tyranny? Do they not see that the children have a life of their own? Do they not see that they made this person come to life to be free? As a result of this, the child grows and is educated with a suppressed and traumatized mind, a conditioned mind, carved, cultivated, and modeled the likes of society, a mind full of barriers and false view of life, full of fears, and a mind that is not really your own. By the time the child has reached adulthood, that suppressed and conditioned mind is so normal and part of everyday life that they cannot see anymore that they have been trained and chained to enact on the model of society, and they do not know that their minds have been manipulated and corrupted over time. As it was for them, the one who lived before us and live in reverse like devil, the parents raise and educate the children as they have been. It is a vicious circle that has been going on for millions of years, right in front of our eyes, which are so busy looking at all the distractions society has put up in front of you. Second line of control, traumatism. Traumatism is the kind of control society used, as it was used all over the ages, all over the world, in the wars, public deaths, sacrifices, books, all these things. All of these are traumatic events, big or small, made to subdue the population into fear, acceptance, and control. These days, society uses lots of tactics to pass on their ways, but today is mostly the entertainment business that they use to do the control for them, like television, books, and music, things that people love and think that it makes good thing for them. They make them feel good. People use these things today without even knowing what they are really for. Like money and television. What are they really made for? No? Go look at it. Look at the history of television and radio. What they use it for. Sure, these things seems all good if it was not you wouldn't want it. You know? If it wasn't, you wouldn't want it at all. You wouldn't not buy it. You wouldn't not give yourself to it. It is made this way, to make you want it. But if you knew the true purpose of it, would you still like them? Those things are to keep people's mind off of themselves, unconscious. To lose yourself in a group mentality, wandering in a dream world, in a dream. Not the individuality, the reality of things. As long as you follow the line drawn by the media, you are being led in your mind to be a slave of some kind of control. It makes you dream and wonder at what life should or what it could be. But that is only the visions of the society wants for you. It is because you do not know what you want. If you did, commercials would be useless. Everyone needs to know that control is not taken from you. It is given by you to them. It is always your choice. Only you can let someone take control of your action. Society is like a vampire, and they portrayed this in the movie. It is all related, you know. Vampire sucks the blood of people to keep them alive. So does society. Without people, it is dead. But vampires can never take something from you unless you give it to them. You know, sounds a lot like society to me. All that exists and happens all around you before your eyes is a relation of the life that exists inside of you. It is you. Only you can see what your eyes can see. Nobody can see it because of Nobody can see this because of what society made you believe. What you see with your eyes is what it is, and not more. And what they teach you is the truth, then it must be true. This vicious circle can only be broken when you decide for yourself by experiences, researches, self-knowledge, self-discovery, what is the truth in all of this. What life really is, what life really means, and what to do with it. To be able to know that, you got to have a free mind, free of other people's thought, free of what society's will and grasp on you, free of all fears. You have to let go of your attachment of the material and meditate on all your action in life, and to regress to a state you were when you were a child, pure, untainted by beliefs, and relearn everything from there, on your own, by your own will, and by your own heart's desire. Know that you have all the abilities unimaginable already in you. Do not let someone tell you what you are or not. Know yourself. It is the only way to regain your own mind and to see the true reality that is before you. If not, you only live in a made-up world of someone else's thoughts or plan, a follower of others' visions and makings, a slave to society. Society. There exists a way to be able to live a real life here, free of control and suppressions, but people can't access it, nor they can't see it anymore. They have been put a veil upon their eyes, and that veil is called society. Remember, when I say society, I'm talking about each and every one of us. Society has blinded and divided man for a long time with some false beliefs of religion, education, nationality, races, knowledge, advancement, entertainment, culture, pleasures, senses, so much important to make you forget yourself and what you really are, unconscious of things happening, to divide us from ourselves, to make you think you are part of something. To be able to do that in a worldwide manner, they took over religions and businesses, and maybe they invented those things. And I'm pretty sure they did. So all the examples mentioned above are imaginary walls and borders built in your mind that has been put there by society. Because all of this, the people are now lost, fragmented in their own minds that they think is theirs but is actually not. The fact is that the existence of religion, races, borders, countries, divisions, etc., they're all just but illusory, put there by beliefs of society to separate, to divide, to classify you, to have better control over you. You and everyone else made those things in reality in your mind. But if you stop thinking 2 seconds and see that, in the beginning, there were none of all this. There was only yourself along with everyone else, all in one place, one space. That you and all the others here are the only ones sharing and creating, populating and making this place move with all of your thoughts and lives. Giving life to this society. People may think that society is run by governments and powerful people, but it only looks like it. In fact, it is not. They are trying to scare you, to make you believe that they control. They are more afraid of us than you think. If the people would stop doing everything to contribute to the system and rely on their own, then what is and where is society, if not only driven by every one of us? We make society work, not them. They use money to make society. We use nothing, only ourselves. And what do we make of our world? A place of conflict, wars, fights, hate, division, nationality, religion, money, greed, jealousy, pride, suppression, and all of the other things that comes from false beliefs and fear. All of those because people have been misled and programmed to entrust their faith, their attention in the power and control of other people's more than in themselves and their own conscience. What is that? Insecurity. It is because they don't like themselves enough, or because they don't believe that they can do things on their own? No, it is not. It is then again only because they have been raised on false beliefs, suppression of self, misled to trust everything that they are being told. Why do people hate themselves this so much? And why do people hate what and who they are? Why can't they accept the facts? And why do they lie to themselves so much? It is a subconscious message that to tell us that we hate who we have become. Accepting who you are and the way you are is the most fundamental thing that there is to be done here. If you skip this part, then you are missing the foundation of life, and then leads easily to a loss of self-confidence, depression, and eventually a loss of self-totality, giving away the power that you have over to anyone who seems to display a better view of life or seems more educated than you. You know, like doctors, specialists, teachers, priests, gurus, or someone that has only a piece of paper to prove that they are something or someone. Prove it to whom? Society? Themselves? Know that nobody is better than yourself. Nobody knows yourself better than you. learn and never forget that simple fact. Everyone is different and unique in their own way. Everyone has their own path and to return to and follow, but all have the same goals. By skipping the foundation, it leads you to have a weak support and a false awareness of lives, which then leads only to searching for answers outside of yourself. Because you do not believe that you, yourself, has something to offer. But if you search in the world around you for truth and answers, you will only find lies, emptiness, and other people as lost as you are. It is because they are searching for the same thing and in the same places as you, only seeking where they are told to look. The truth is that you will never find answers in the world, only clues that leads to confusion. People are trying to put clues together all their lives and never reach the meaning of it. This is what people have done over and over again over the ages. Those clues were left there by others that were searching in the wrong places for the wrong reasons, for a meaning of life. Realize that there are never real clues to be found. There are only answers for yourself. Nothing is really hidden, only people who hide things. The only real answers are only found by self-exploration, knowing your experiences, your actions and reactions, and to know oneself's place and role in all of this. Know that you are not here for nothing. Know that you had to come here to live this life, to experiment, to experience physical life. Not to only work for someone or make money for status. This is society's will, not yours. Looking outside yourself for the truth about yourself is only a relation, a reflection, an image of your mind, a thought of yourself, not yourself. There is no you outside yourself. Only by looking at your past, present, and future as one thing, and taking control of your own senses, will, and thoughts, you will be able to see past the veil that has been put up by everyone, including you, upon us. But know that knowing oneself is a constantly changing interaction. With every experiences come a new point of view, a new knowledge, and so knowing oneself can never be fully achieved because it's ever changing. Knowledge. Knowledge does not make you more intelligent than anyone or better than anyone. It is not knowledge that makes you, but this is what people are led to believe. Intelligence is an innate thing. We are all born with it. Nobody is more intelligent than anyone. There is only people who has acquired more knowledge or skills more than you at this time. Knowledge and intelligence are two separate and different things, but are related to each other. Knowledge is acquired through different experiences and actions. Anyone can have access to knowledge. They just have to want to know and take the time to learn about it totally. Knowledge is the skills nobody knows any skills in the beginning of their lives. You decide as you grow and experience life what you want to learn about. But as of society today, most of the knowledge is being imposed on you. And what are the skills you should do and learn too? Depending on how much you put and open up yourself to the experience of that skill, relatively, this is how much you will be able to perform and perfect that particular experience as a result. But if your experience is imposed on you, upon you, and you do not really want to acknowledge the experience of that skill, then you are just being a follower of the actions that are put on you. not being yourself totally at the moment, causing a misperception of reality because it is not your own will or by your own heart, leading you to have an experience that you will not like or do anymore and is worth nothing to you because you didn't get any benefit from it by it being imposed on you. So you deny the experience. Have you ever heard of the expression, put your heart into everything you do? Surely you have. But do you know the meaning of it? Most of you will say no, and not many will say yes. It is because you have not been taught the meaning behind it. People don't know anything anymore unless it has been taught to them. So by themselves, they think that they cannot know anything. The truth is that they know already everything because everything already exists. You just have to remember or be re-taught about it. Like I said in the beginning of this section, knowledge and intelligence are related. Know that your knowledge can never surpass the amount of intelligence that you let yourself have. And so, if your intelligence has been suppressed, then your knowledge is suppressed too. On the other hand, intelligence comes from within. It is already in you. It is you. And you are infinite. And so does your intelligence. It just has to be known and found again. But because of the suppression and life-controlling state of society, people are led to believe that they are not intelligent enough because they do not have a diploma or a degree or any piece of paper that proves that they are accomplished citizens on that matter. So people have come to think of themselves and others as just a vision of society wants to make of them. Preconceived perceptions of people. But what does a piece of paper say about who they are? Do they really know who they are? Or are they just what is written on the piece of paper for them? And does having more knowledge really determine who you are? Only by putting your will and your heart behind everything you do and everything you want to learn is the only way you're gonna retain the information that you learned. You know, when you're in school and you don't want to listen to teachers, anything, then you don't learn anything. But the moment you put your attention on it, you retain everything. This is how it works. Put your heart and your will into anything you want to do. But if it's put upon you, then it's nothing. Education. Everyone thinks that education is the basis of our society and a major part of life. And they are not wrong, but did you ever think that maybe our education is the reason for our revolving life, leading to enslavement of your mind? Schools in education is not what it used to be. Since the world's education was used as a suffix, the system has been under the control of a council and programs were implemented to govern the way the society needs to be for better control. Schooling used to be our own choices. From being a toddler to a teen, you were taught at home by parents or tutor the basic like talking, counting, and writing. Then, from your teens to being an adult or mature your life by experiencing the world. If you lived on a farm, you will learn farming, crafting, things that you really need. Then, when you discover by yourself life, you could choose to go to a school to further explore a subject like mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, masonry, and all other subjects that you want to learn. The important thing here is that you choose to follow what you want to learn. This makes all the difference. Today, most people don't have the parent to teach all of the basic stuff that I mentioned earlier because they are too busy trying to figure out how to live. Work, money, payments, house. They're stuck in the programming of schools themselves. And the society today pushes and tells everyone that the younger they go to school, the faster they will be on the payroll to make the world move. Not your world, but theirs. Real education does not cost anything. You can show anything to anyone with nature alone. But no, school programs cost millions in taxes to develop and is part of the money wheel to make the world turn in the direction they want, because without them, the world is not turning. It's money that makes the world turn. Schools today are not there to do what you think they do. Schools are not for teaching your children, but to educate and cultivate them, to make of them good little citizens, slaves, who behaves and follow the fences placed by the system to develop a certain way of thinking. Follow orders, be rewarded with a little star sticker, and follow the bell. One example today, grade does not matter anymore in grade school. It's called grade school. Why not, if their education is so important? No. They say competition makes some kids feel weaker than others, but a teacher does not tell them that they are not competing with each other, but with themselves, to surpass themselves. They do not teach them to be a better person, but a follower of rules and laws. Now they just want to make children feel better about themselves no matter what score you had. This will make people with no self-judgment and no self-improvement. If everything is good and you never fail, how do you learn when mistakes does not exist anymore? The education establishment today are training our children to follow rules and behave accordingly to the will of society at the moment, to prepare them for work. They do not teach anything else than to get a job and prepare for a career. It is their only purposes in a career that does not really exist. Young kids should not have to think about their future at this age. They should be free to have infinite goals in life. But no, they are making them choose early a career to pursue, so the society does not collapse. Someone, somewhere, is so afraid to lose control that they need to control everything. All of this nobody sees anymore. It has been going this way for so long that it is the way of life and it's just normal. From kings to churches, from society to community, they're all blinding everyone by putting a veil of poison goodness over our eyes. Most people today send their children to public school, directed by government programs and in the hands of teachers that they don't even know. And they let them fill their children's heads with government programming. After you know how to read, count and write, the world is your teacher. School teachers think that they are doing good things by teaching our children the program that they get on their desk. But they do not know because they have been indoctrinated in the same system too. They think they're good. They're doing good. There must be some teachers that sees and knows that the system is binding children in chains, but most of them are too afraid to take a stand, afraid to lose their precious job that they studied so hard to have. But they have all been implemented in their minds by wanting to go and take the courses, programs of teaching. A program tells you how to teach. Why? Can't you yourself see and know what is best for children to know? Government programs are made to prepare you for life and contribution to society by having a career, a job, a supposed life. they will never teach you how to be what you want to be, only what they want you to be. Government programs and school books are made and approved by a council of UN, that is UNESCO, and they put out all the books to all the schools in the world. They set the standards and distribute their program to all the nations that are within the United Nations across the world. Why the need for a World Council if we really have the choice of schooling? Because you do not. It does not matter which school you go or choose. They have all the same documents brought to them to apply to their teachings. Since the UNESCO was founded, programs that made you think and have an open your mind to all possibilities were abolished and taken off the list of things to teach, replaced by things not important to anyone but the UN themselves. Programs like foreign language, social studies, music, etymology of word and physical education were all suppressed or abolished and replaced by other things. Fake history and even religious studies. Everything that would make you wonder about the world and think out of the programming of numbers, jobs, money, career were suppressed. Everyone follows the same principles. Do what everybody does, or what the councils tell you what to do. You think that you are making this education for you, but in fact you are making it for them, because they need you to attend their schooling, to learn how to behave in their society of work and money, honey, that makes their wheel turn. Just like little bees. What if schools taught you how to subside to all of your needs by yourself without having to pay for everything? Why don't they teach you how to grow your own Garden of Eden? How to grow plants and veggies, how to make a shelter, how to make paper to write, how to attend to all of our needs without having to depend on others or at the expense of others. To learn how to live and exploit nature to your need as a tool without excess. If it could be, nobody would be in need of anything because they already have all the tools to do and have everything that they need on their own. You would only take and make what you need. No excess waste. The way it should be. But it will never be this way as long as everybody follows the corporate way of life and not nature. Because in nature, there is no money to be made. Suppression of the senses. The only thing that each and every one of us has and own is our senses. Your senses are a tool to help you see the world as it is, really. You should never suppress or ignore them. Some people say, we live too much in the 5 sense world. Yes, but this is where they see it wrongly. Our senses are part of us. But the problem with the senses is that people are addicted too much to them. And especially to the pleasure that they procure. Like sex, drugs, alcohol, anything else. People are led to believe that what your senses are telling you is what there is and only what there is. And this is what makes reality. The senses are only a reaction of the exterior world acting upon you, and it is only again in your mind, a perception. Know that the origin of the sensation you are feeling, what you feel, is only one part of it. It is only the effect of the action on the physical the senses pick up. Because for every action there is a reaction. If the senses only react to an action in the physical, then what is and where is the action take place? It is in the unseen, the empty space, the dark matter that they call, or the akasha, or in the spiritual plane depending on your so-called beliefs. The only and real place it happens is in your mind, your thoughts. You and everyone else's thoughts is what makes the action and populate the unseen world that is all around you. This is a part that have been suppressed out of knowledge, a part that cannot be seen and cannot be touched, and surely not a thing that can be put on a piece of paper or a dollar sign on it, It cannot be explained by anything. It got to be experienced. It is not a thing, nor a thing. It can only be sensed with the fullness of your senses. If I tell you there exists an even greater world just outside of the range of the senses, what will you think? But by the words of society and the veil they put upon us, people learn to trust only what they see and what they've been told. And by that, they only use parts of their senses. All of that because of the way we have been led to behave and told how to use our tools. So began the suppression of the innate and simple way that we should have always known and followed in our life, our instincts. Hard to believe that's something that cannot be seen these days, but there are some simple examples of everyday things that prove a presence of unseen forces or energies all around us. Take the air, for instance. You cannot see it, but you know it is there. It is a very important part of your life, and exactly the most important part of your life. Take the rays of the sun. You cannot see them with your own eyes, or can you grab them with your hands, but you definitely can feel it on your body, and it is a part of you and you and everyone else everyday life too. Are those too subtle, too normal, too everyday life to notice that it is in the unseen, the untouchable, the emptiness where everything is going on? These are only examples of many other phenomena that prove the existence of unseen forces, and that there is much more to this world that meets the eye. That is why people need to relearn everything, how to use their senses to the fullest, not only for the physical pleasure or pain, but to have the experience of it, the true meaning of it, without thinking of it as a thing, but just enjoying the moment, the experience that you are having of it, not to be driven by it. People have had an addiction problem for so long, and they do not even know about it. They are addicted to their own senses, addicted to the pleasure of it, what they procure, not knowing the true nature of it, and let the pleasure guide their lives. This is a great barrier to cross, and one that most of the people do not want to let go, and will never let go, and let the pleasures of life take control. It is a good to have pleasure, as long as it is only an experience of not your life. Lots of people only live for pleasure, maybe to escape this place that they do not like, or maybe just because they do not understand any of it. So they resort to something that they think they know and think is real. But no, it is because they do not see the meaning of it and everything else, while having this veil of society. And wanting to escape reality is to fear life. To fear creates walls, borders, and unhappiness. And even if in the first place you thought of having the experience of pleasure was in your mind supposed to bring you some form of happiness, of releaseness. But the thing is, if you are not happy with yourself fully, how can you bring happiness to others while you don't even understand your own self-fulfillment? Fears. The people living here have been living under fear constantly because of traumatism made by society And this has been going on for so long that they have become weak, lame, and insecure. People always wanted something or someone to do things for them, that they are willingly building machines and robots to do things for them. It is not their fault. Yet again, people only project on the world what they have been projected onto them. If you have been in control of your life psychologically, you will want to control too, subconsciously, because of the programming put in everyone. The people have the power to do whatever they want to, but they choose to let someone do it for them. They will only do something for the sensation that pleasure procure or for money. One of the reasons of man's entrapment. People always wanted to have the easy way out and things done for them. From slaves to robots, they have always been used for the same reason, doing the work that someone else does not want to do. Man is so afraid of being hurt, being tired, of losing time, losing things, losing even if it is nothing, and not being part of something is a big thing. Everyone wants to be part of something. If this madness continues, there will be nothing left to lose anymore. Maybe this is the turning point when man will awake up. But it will surely be a little too late. People are always afraid of something. Fear is a mental block, a program put in your mind by your parents, your friends, and all part of society. And they do it without knowing, because the society has put the same programs into your parents and friends. Any kind of fear is purely irrelevant, like the fear of an animal or an insect, the fear of the dark, the fear of heights. They are just a result of one true fear, and that true fear is just an illusion on its own. And this fear is the fear of dying, of death. All the other fears are derived from this one. Death is only part of life, nothing to be afraid of. In fact, it needs to be praised more than to be mourned. And the thing is that people think that the consequence of their death, the impact on their loved one, on their things, instead of thinking of it as the second part of life, the end of this journey and the beginning of another. If everybody could accept the fact of life and death, people will cheer as their loved one passes over, releasing all the energies connecting to them with them. But the society has made up a whole death, a thing of mourning and sadness, of money, pulling on the energies of the deceased and loved ones. So again, it creates fear and sadness in the hearts of people. If people could see what and everything that happens between their time of life and their death. When I say everything, it is absolutely everything. What goes on with every living entity around you. And to think about all of those reactions and all their action as they are doing them. And so by knowing that every cause has an effect on their lives and on the world, this place would be such a beautiful and peaceful place. What it should really be, a paradise. If they could only see past the fears that have been put in their minds by society's making, we would not have made borders, countries, separation, classes, culture, races, religion, money, sins, conflicts, or lies, or any of those things that people think that makes the world turn. But all those things, they did not exist in any of us before man invented the rule of society. It's not those things that makes the world, but only you and everyone else's thoughts that create this place. If people knew the true nature of things, People will never have those thoughts of those minds suppressing things, knowing that time and death are just illusory, just a type of measurement, not reality. If people could abandon all their fears, there would not have been the need for any control, and then would not even exist any repression, any suppression, any government, any police or military, no borders and no wars. People would be able to have everything they need because they would have everything already. All the time and attention in the world to give to themselves and their actions. No religions, no nationality, no jealousy, because they would have already everything that they can have and be. But before all of that can happen, man needs to find himself, relearn himself. And throughout the time, man has been searching everywhere to give a sense to his life, to know the truth. Yet another reason that man is so lost again and fragmented. One fact is that he's searching into space for answers. Why? There is no space. They do not even know what really is space. They don't even understand themselves. How could they understand something or someone else? Do you think that your life is so boring that you need to look elsewhere for answers? The truth is found only by knowing oneself. But no one believes it. It is a delusion for them. They want to know what's out there. They want to see it with their eyes. What about what's in you? And what about what's here? Own choices. All of this is a problem put on the society to keep man's thought away from himself. In a constant thinking state, that is in a fact of suppressive state, a sleep while awake state. Because always having a thought in your head, do not let space for your own freedom of thoughts. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, behave like this, and be that way. Just follow the leaders. If people knew themselves, they would understand the world and how it works, and would know what is best for them, and that there is nobody else better than themselves to know what they need for them. As a result, we would not have to need for any of these dictatorships behaviors. Everything that you do here is and only is by your own will or actions, by your own choices. If you let society choose what is best for you, then you are only a slave of your actions, governed by the society. It is by following what you have been told and what you have been said, what is best for you, that you lose your self-control and give it freely away unconsciously. Each and every one of you has the choice. It is your own choice. You just have to make it. Do not be afraid of the consequences of your choices and actions. If you feel deeply that is what you want to do, just do it. It is your life, not your neighbors, not the government's. It is yours and only yours. Take control of your own life by making your own choices, not the choices someone makes for you. Know what is best for you and do it. Know that anyone who wants to make you do things or impose things, it is because they do not know themselves and are afraid. Don't be scared of your actions. Accept the fact that you make your own choices for yourself, and those choices are for you and for you only. But always keep in mind the effects of your choices will have upon your world. An important thing that everybody should know, and is a big problem, is that it does not make you better than anyone by having or owning more things than another. Nor life is a competition. In reality, nobody is better than anyone else. Everyone is different in their own way. but all share one mind. People need to accept that. But society has led people to a life of struggle for money, power, competition against one and another in every way. When the world should be a big collaboration of ideas, of self-improvement, development, and knowledge for helping everyone who needs some help. All this for a better tomorrow. We should help everyone achieve their own self, but everyone is in a competition with everyone. That's what society does, not want. The truth is the most dangerous thing for society because it exposes it as it really is. It's all a big lie. Controlling, separating, dividing people and putting them in a particular case. That is why they do not want you to wake up and do everything to lead people to think that it is all there is to do in life: work, sleep, eat, follow society. People have lost the reasons of their lives here. It is not to make tons of money, not to have lots of pleasure, not to have lots of material things, and not to have the perfect job either. Those are just experiences. They're not you. Learn to see the world as an experience. Know that every experience is unique on its own, and you are unique on your body. And as the same as everyone else who is in this place, and know that your mind and their mind are the same, a universal mind. It is one big connection. That is why society is you. You have let society become you instead of making you the society. And if you only experience things that someone wants for you, then who are you? Are you only a carving of someone else's mind? Illusions. To come back to the beginning, people have been so misguided and for so long that they have become so insecure and lost on what they should be doing for themselves that they rather control someone or be controlled by some other than taking control of their own lives. People want so bad to be someone these days, and they don't realize that they are already someone, but has been shattered by society and need to be re-glued together to know themselves instead of being themselves. This tells us that people don't really know who they are. The only way to change the state is by realizing that society has led them into their doom, by making them think that their lives are their own and cannot be better. In fact, their lives are only driven by society, not by themselves. They have been living like sheep and dogs are their lives. They have been living in an illusion of reality, an illusion that people are in control of their lives, when they are only responding to the call of society. If you strip a person of everything they have, they will say they have lost everything and have nothing left. But in fact, they still have themselves, the most important thing of all. But they do not see it. They think of themselves as nothing. Why is that? Maybe it is because they do not have a life of their own. If you ever learn to know yourself, then you are at the mercy of anyone who comes and put things in your thoughts, in your head. That is how society works. Wanting what other people have is another problem, made and put up by society. Not being happy with what you have is the same problem. It is a result of being misled to not knowing what you want to do and what is best for you. People have lost their sight of the true and real beliefs in life. Love and happiness. If everybody would love and be happy, there would not be any hate, no violence, no fears. Love and happiness is not achieved by hurting other others for their own happiness. But this is for another part of that I will touch later. All of this is because people do not see themselves as they should, as a part of everything. Just like the cells in your body are part of you, then like every single person on this planet is part of it. But they see themselves only as part of a society. Accept yourselves in your actions, and you will realize the true nature of self, and a new world will open up to you. What you see with your eyes is only a glimpse of what is in front of you. By the limitation that we put on ourselves, or those put on by society, they have been able to place every one of us in a small box, a cave, easily controllable so that the people cannot reach far beyond. But know that knowing oneself, like I said earlier, is a constantly changing road. And with every new experience comes a new point of view, so knowing oneself constantly changes and can never be fully achieved. The only reason is because saying that you would know your oneself totally puts a barrier that prevents you from improving and learning more. So knowing yourself is an infinitely ongoing path to knowledge, because knowledge is infinite and you are infinite. And know also that knowledge is based on your own experiences. Know too that knowledge is not you, but only a part of you. Do not let your knowledge become you, only a title made by society. Do not let your knowledge become you. Example of this are the professions like doctors, priests, teachers, psychiatrists, etc. They have let their knowledge become them, so they only relate themselves to it. Living is just a series of experiences, and living is learning from those experiences. Learning not to make the same mistakes over and over again. But people today say that things just happens. They did not learn anything if they say that. Things do not just happen, and nothing happens just because. Everything that happens in your life and everyone's is related and happens because of you and everyone's experiences. It happens as a result of your own actions. Everybody experiences situation differently. Maybe people will share an experience at the same time and place as you, but it is not the same one. It is different for each individual experiencing it. The experiences that we have, they seem to take part in front of our eyes, but in fact, it all takes parts in our minds. Everyone has different point of view on any experiences lived, because most of the time, and if not all of the time, people relate an experience that they are having to another past experience. Sometimes they read or experience that is not even their own. For example, if someone says something to you about a particular subject or an experience, ask yourself, is that something that they seen and heard, or is it something that has been said and put onto them? Did they actually live and experience the experience that they are talking about? Why do people today relate their own life to experience that are not even their own, but experienced by others? It seems here that they are not aware of their own actions and doing, and then takes on the experiences of others as their own. For every person you meet or every action you do, it is going to be a different and a totally unique other experience. Even and no matter how similar to past experiences it is to the new one, it is different each and every time. So the goal when having a new experience is to not make any reference to things said or put in your mind or any of your past experiences. If you relate your new experience to an experience not of yours or previous one that you had, you will only build a kind of barrier or a wall that will enable you to appreciate the full extent of the experience. This all because of some false and past beliefs or bad experience that you relate to the one you are having now. Then so, the mind keeps only the memory that has already been recorded. The thing here is to have no expectation, no preconceived thoughts about anything, to be open-minded to all possibilities, to give your full attention to the experience, and to do this is to give an open place in your mind for new views on your new experiences, a place in your mind for it. Love. Another big problem nowadays, is the most important one of all, is love. What is love? What is love for? Love is not sex, nor love is about sex. Love is not the attention given by others to you. Love is not pleasure. Love is not marriage, nor is it about it. Love is not a sensation, and love is surely not a material thing, any material gift. Love is none of that. True love is loving yourself totally. Loving someone is actually loving yourself through the eyes of someone else. Only through someone else's eye can you see how much you love yourself, and then how much you can give love to someone else. Know that you cannot give more love than you can give to yourself. Same thing as intelligence and knowledge. But society has led you to believe again that what they are showing and telling is real love by showing how it should be in movies, books, TV shows, etc. You ever wondered why people love so wrongly today? What is the problem? Is it insecurity? Searching security of others to feel secure, when only you can give yourself the true sense of security. Society has led people to a false definition and sense of love. Having a false sense of love leads only to loving the wrong way. To have lots and bad relationships, and then to hate relationships because you cannot understand or do not understand what and why love is so fake today, and then try to live love the way the society shows you. This kind of love is interfering with the true nature of it, and it confuses people even more, and then resorts to violence and hate. But real love does not hate. Real love has no understanding, and real love does not need anything until you understand for yourself what is love. Love for you is just what people say it is. But real, pure love is unconditional, without restriction or condition. No violence, no hate. Just loving without caring about yourself. Just giving freely, totally, without fear. Love is loving yourself in the first place. We are all born of love, and with only love in our hearts. As we grow and learn, we learn to hate and to fear. But actually, it is imposed on us without us ever knowing. This is all because of the way that we are raised. That it is a normal thing to see violence and hate. We always see it, and it is showed everywhere and all around us as we develop and make ourselves when we grow. It has become normal, but no, it's not. When we are born, there is not one grain of hate in any of us. Hate and fear is programmed in our brain by constant exposure without guidance. Not anyone's fault, that is. Nobody knows better. Everyone is raised their children the way they have been raised and educated. It is a subconscious programming. The education that has been given to children is with fear and pressure to be better than everyone else, to be in competition with one another. But everyone has their own rhythm, their own individuality. Everyone is different. Why make them fight each other when they should be helping each other to be better for themselves and loving each other, not to suppress one and glorify the other? What kind of suppressive state are we in? Know that you are already the best you can be. You just have to relearn that you are. This is why we are alive here, today, in this body. Everybody knows the expression, put your heart into it. It is a reference to love. Put love into it. What is the secret of ingredient that every grandmother uses in their recipe to make it taste so good? They will all answer one thing: love. But everybody thinks it's a joke. No, it is the secret of all things here, if not the biggest one. So love is not only to give to others, but to give to every single action that you make in your life. And especially not to forget to give it to yourself. When the people live in a place where they do not know how to love and have compassion anymore, then we are all doomed. Living in hate, living in doubt, living in hell, if you think of it. Looks like we already are. With all the wars, murders, fight, killing, lying, and pain, it really looks like the world we live in is kind of it. And it is us that did all that to ourselves, by letting ourselves be controlled by our senses and pleasure, by society and money. It got to change. People need to relearn everything, how to make use of love, how to love themselves and everything else alive in this place, how to take charges for their lives, of their lives. Only then could we see a glimpse of change in the world, knowing your actions, intentions, and reactions will enable you to see how things in reality really works. To take back control of your life and thoughts. Doing only things that you love to do, or doing things for someone you love. Always include love in everything you do. If not, might as well not do it, because it will have no real meaning, no real knowledge. Strive for self-knowledge and know that true self-knowledge is never attained. It is always a continuous learning journey. Know that you are not your job, not the amount of money you got, not how much material you own. You are none of that. Know that violence does not resolve anything, but creates only more violence, chaos, and fears. Only by loving yourself and everything else, and by giving love, will it bring more love. Know yourself and what you are. You are consciousness, timeless. You are energy and thoughts. You are only a projection of your mind before your eyes, an image of yourself created by your experiences. The world that you see is just part of a whole, only the conscious part of it. This is the fundamental thing to know, to be able to live truly free and see past the veils of society. Karma. I talked briefly about karma earlier, on how it affects everything and everyone around you, and mostly only you. Everyone in this place are all part of one and the same thing, one being, all in one place. Just like each and every cell in your body makes you and are part of you, everything and everyone living here are part of one thing, one living, breathing, feeling thing that we call Earth. And Earth is heart. Each and every one of us are the cells that make the earth alive and move. So each and every time you do some hurt, do some harm, or just hate on anything that is living in this place, it is like doing harm to yourself in the same relative way. It may not look like it, but it is because your eyes have been distracted and are only deceiving your mind. If you meditate on your actions without prejudice and pre-made conclusions, with a clear mind and thoughts, you will soon find out how this whole karma effect works. Nothing will ever happen to you if you only show true love and compassion for every living thing here and anywhere, because this is the universal way of teaching. On the other hand, hurting, hating, or killing willingly and ignoring the consequence of your actions on others will eventually get back at you evenly and relatively at the same place or in the same way that you hurt the world. So every time something happens to you, ask yourself, what did I do? If you meditate without being selfish or stubborn, you will be able to understand your actions clearly and see that only you, yourself, is responsible for every action that you took or have taken in your life. But if you ignore or deny the choices you have partaken and done, it is like somehow hurting yourself, lying to yourself. The only reason is the fear, again, the fear of what people will think of you, of your actions. The thing is that you should accept and be totally happy with all of your actions, because they are all of your choices. They make you and are you. If you do not accept them, then you are just the slaves of your actions and create disease because you're not happy with your choices. Every single action that we do here, the world knows and records it. Like I said earlier, the world is made of our thoughts, and there is no action without thoughts. So every single thought that we have is flowing in the world. And by that, know that it is the subconscious mind that controls the conscious mind. Having a free subconscious mind is to be free of any thoughts that are not yours, because you know yourself. Until you learn to know yourself and how things really are, and how to gain control of your subconscious, you are only a player in this game of life, not a controller. Not a controller of others, but only a controller of yourself. Every little things that happen is a result of your unconscious action in life, not just a random act. It does not exist, a random act. This is the way to learn the fundamentals in this world, by understanding that every action is not without an opposite reaction. If you do not learn from your experiences, then it only becomes worse every time you do the same selfish actions. You need to push aside selfishness and greed out of your actions and experiences, because those kinds of acts are only one-sided in a two-sided world. So the world needs to balance the effect with an equal and opposite reaction. Be aware of your reaction of your actions before doing anything that might result in an unwanted effect. Know that the result of your action only applies to you, because you and only you have the power to make your own choices and actions. And this is called the karma effect. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, only applied to the person who did the action or the thought. So accept every action you made or make and will make without ignoring the consequence of them. Know that what you do or have done, think of the reaction it will cause or caused. Never forget that you are what makes the world and everything you think and do the world knows. Fulfillness. What is self-fulfillness? Nowadays, people are pushed and sculpted by society to think that their life is to have a good job and working mostly part of it to make the world turn and to keep the economy running, or to have a house because everyone needs a place to live, or to buy all kinds of other materialistic things just to have something to call your own. But at the end of their lives, they are still searching for happiness. All of that keeps the people in a zombified controlled state, craving for the need for more things and at the mercy of the world's leaders' scheme. And even the leaders have been raised by society too. Nobody can escape the suppression of self. If you do not seek out of it, you will never find the end of it. Everybody has been led to believe that it will make them happier in their lives, having all of those things, and then live a so-called fulfilled life, not ever knowing that they are just feeding the beast called society. Most of the people nowadays do as they are told and not what they want and feel like doing. I'm not talking about wanting to go somewhere like a trip or having a new car or any kind of this material things of the world. None of it is really real and are just experiences. I'm talking here about your mind, your free minds. Because people today are told so much how to live their lives and what it should or not be. This result of their mind being occupied mostly all of the time. So their thoughts are not their own most of the time too. They have been subconsciously driven by programs put in by society. What you want is not what your neighbors want or what your friends want. Each and every one of us has a life and needs that are different from everyone else's. But society wants you and everyone to have what the other have, to have the same kind of life, an easy to control collective life, a slave's life. Everyone has to find their own path in life. Knowledge can only show you the way. You got to walk and experience the road and do the trip. It can only help you, guide you, not to do it for you. This is where most humanity quits, and they think someone will come and do it for them, but only them can walk in their shoes. Each and every one of us have a different journey and path ahead of us. Sometimes it crosses roads with someone else's. Sometimes they are side by side, parallel to each other. But be careful, do not let your road step on others for too long, or you might forget which one is yours and lose yourself. You can always take a peek at other roads, where they go, who it belongs to, and maybe follow it for a while to get some experience, some knowledge out of it for a moment. But never forget that you have your own path and journey in life to find and rejoin ahead of you. Your road is sometimes can be like a plane, where it is easy to walk. Sometimes it's a hill or a mountain when it is tougher. These are the hard moments. This is a long and treacherous journey, the path of self-discovery. Not many make it through, but everyone can attain it, and everyone's path leads to the one and only place, self-awareness and self-fulfillment.